There is a lot of really good Thai food out there. Before I went on my mission, I don't think I ever really liked Asian food that much. The most that I got was like Panda Express, which is super Asian, right? And so, like, when I got there, it was kind of, I guess that was kind of like a culture thing. I was like, what is this? 'Cause I never really had Thai food. But there is really good Thai food, and there's like kind of like strange Thai food that a lot of people like don't think about. Well, they're strange to us, but not strange to them. So I remember eating like really great rice dishes like that people would know. There's like ground pork things with omelets on top with great spicy sauces and things like that. There's things that are very like kind of fancy, I guess, and then there's things that are more like neighborhood foods. Like I served a lot in what's called the Isan, which is kind of like the rice fields out in the northeast kind of area, and they had food that was called Isan food. And there's a lot of weird stuff. There's definitely a lot of fishes on skewers, eyeballs still intact, everything. You just like rip the skin off and you just eat at it, throw the bones out. Or I remember getting soups with fish heads in them, or beetles. And my personal favorite was Fast Sunday once. They came out with a big bucket of snails. So, you just really didn't know what to expect in the first bit. And so my trainer, she was Thai, she loved Isan food, and that was an adoption for me for sure. But over time, because like I said, I didn't really start off loving Asian food. By the end, that's really all I could think about eating for lunch. I'm like, hamburger? What? Yeah, it turned into rice. And I still love rice. So all Thai food, so good. Some not so popular on the eyes at first sight, but really good.
I actually used to work at a Thai restaurant because I miss the food so much and they give me free meals. Yeah, the food, it was interesting. There is a variety of food. Not all of it's spicy, against popular belief. I actually had a companion because I loved spicy food once I got used to it. I can now eat a lot more spicy food than most of my friends who served in South American countries or in Mexico. Because they always used to brag they'd like eat jalapenos in my face and make me try to eat it as a dare or something and I'd die. But now I eat jalapenos like they're candy. They're super sweet to me and not very spicy anymore. But the main staple down there is something called somtam, that we know as papaya salad. What they do is they take unripened papaya and shred it up, so it's almost like a coleslaw feel to it. But then they add in a whole bunch of ingredients, and when they make it for you, they ask you how many peppers you want in that, and they're whole Thai chilies. The highest I ever got to was 16, and I wanted to die. But normally I got like a 5 or a 6, and that was plenty spicy for me. But again, another thing, I had a companion in the field who called me one of the most boring people when it came to food because I used to just get fried rice everywhere I went. I ate it for lunch, breakfast, dinner. Like, I loved fried rice for some reason. It was very different than Chinese fried rice. It's very fresh, and they put a lot more lime into it, so it's very sour as well. I thought it was delicious. But my companion always called me boring because of it. But yeah, the food was just so amazing. And most of the times, we just eat from street vendors. A lot of people would think that's unhealthy, and it looks unhealthy. But it's actually surprisingly cheaper to eat out than it is to buy the food and cook it yourself. And most of the members, they own restaurants. Restaurants are just opened up out of a person's house, to be honest with you. There was one person named Brother Nung, and he was in the Bangkok area. And that's where the best food is, because all the people come from the east and the north who make really good food, and they come to Bangkok to make food, because that's where most of the population is based on. So you get the best food in Bangkok, that's without a doubt. But this member, Brother Nung, his restaurant was really close to our house when I was serving as an office elder. And I would run to his house, or run to his restaurant every morning, get fried rice and spring rolls. And what I would do is I'd run about probably roughly 2 or 3 miles for exercise in the morning. I'd stop by, pick up food for the APs, as well as because at that time I think there were 3 office elders. There was me and then 2 companions, and one of them would stay at the house, and the other one would run with me because the other one hated running. But he made the best food ever. And there's a thing called damsang, which literally means by your order. And most of the restaurants are like that. You just go up to them and you say, hey, I just want this, and they'll make it for you. It might not even be on the menu, but they'll make it for you. And it's really nice because food is super cheap. You can get a plate of rice and curry on top for $1 and like throw on like 10 cents for a drink. It's awesome. There wasn't too many things that were insanely crazy. Like you could eat bugs and stuff. Like guys would go around on their little motorcycle carts and have like this display where they had like crickets or maggots that were like seasoned and deep fried or something. Those were actually really good. They tasted like potato chips because they were seasoned in like some chili powder and stuff like that. It was absolutely delicious. I thought it was weird at first, and then I ate them on a regular basis, and it freaked out greenies. But one thing I want to talk about, in Thailand, the food is actually very, very important to culture. They look at, especially dinner when they're eating together as a family or as like a group of people, they really look at food as not at all like we do. Normally what we do is we talk while we're eating and stuff like that, but it's actually very impolite to have discussions while you're eating over there. And obviously, in the handbook it says, you know, don't leave any food on your plate or something like that. But in Thailand, you want to leave a little bit of food on your plate because otherwise they'll continue to feed you. They're very poor families over there. So they need, and they just, like I said, they love missionaries. There were times where we were walking down and this complete stranger family would just invite us in for dinner. And they wanted to hear our message. But there is one sentence in Thai that if you don't feel comfortable eating something, you can just say you don't know how to eat it. And they brush that off. But you can't just refuse a dish or something like that. It's very, very rude. I had a companion, he had to learn that lesson the hard way. We were actually, it was sad. We were never invited to that home again. But it's important to just accept as much food as you feel comfortable with, and you just have to use that gift of discernment to figure out, you know, should I be eating this or not? There was one case where this guy had made snails and the snails weren't all the way cooked, and I just felt like I shouldn't eat those. And so I just said, I don't know how to eat this. And he's just like, okay. And then he was perfectly fine with that. So that's a very key phrase in Thai to learn, is saying, I don't know how to eat this.
Well, food in Thailand is amazing. And in my first 2 transfers, I think I put on like 25 pounds just in 3 months, because I kind of had this mentality going into it, like if I see anything I've never had before, I gotta try it. And in a new country, Thailand especially, pretty much everything you see the first 3 months is something you've never seen before. So I was always buying stuff and just slamming it down, loved it. And I learned a lot about how to make the foods and different things. They have a couple different like categories of food. They have what's called like ahan glang, which is kind of just like the typical food of the central part of Thailand. There's lots of like stir fries, it's like chicken, pork, meat, different things. You just throw in a couple of vegetables, a couple of different sauces, throw it on rice, good stuff. And then you have ahan Thai, which is the food from the southern part of Thailand. I didn't eat a whole lot of this, but it's like a lot of really spicy curries and lots of fish. And fish in the curries, usually. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, and it was hard to find, so just wasn't around it too much. And then you have ahan Nua, which is food from the northern part of Thailand. They have some great stuff. They have really good curries, a couple different soups, sausage, different things. Also very good. And probably my personal favorite was ahan Isan, from kind of the rural part of Thailand. I mean, there's a lot of rural parts everywhere, but the eastern part of Thailand, which there's lots of rice farming, different things, and they have sticky rice. So they'll make these huge pots of rice, but it's so sticky you just grab it with your hands. So you kind of grab a handful and make a ball with it. And then you'll eat that with like grilled chicken and something called somtam, which is papaya salad, which is super spicy. If you ever go to Thailand, and if you're a missionary watching this and you're about to go there, one of the first questions you're gonna get asked is, can you eat spicy food? And if you say yes, they're gonna bring you somtam, this papaya salad. And if you say no, they'll probably bring you some anyways. And they take papaya, green papaya, so it's not ripe yet, and they shred it kind of like cheese, so it's in like these long strands. They throw in long beans and tomatoes and a couple different sauces and garlic and just like smash it all up. So one of the main ingredients in this papaya salad are these Thai peppers. They're red, they're like that long, and they're just like fire in a little package. And they'll put 5, 10, 20 of them in a single plate of this papaya salad and just smash it up. So you're just going along and just burning your mouth off, burning your face off, you're sweating, your face turns red, my lips swelled up a little bit sometimes, but it's so good, tastes amazing. And it's kind of fun to eat spicy food. You feel manly, you feel like you've accomplished something eating a meal, you know? So look forward to the food and try everything.